Kiryu Kazuma, the Dragon of Dojima, was recommended to me a few videos back, which in timescales that actually means something, was about a month and a half ago. Exams really aren't conducive to a good release schedule, but I only have a few more weeks left, so hopefully there won't be many more situations like this. Now, onto the video. Starting with, as usual, the moveset, Kiryu has an extremely interesting premise. Unlike most characters from non-platformer titles, who may choose 2 or 3 iconic abilities, Dr. Steven has instead decided to use more generic punches and kicks that you could expect from any brawler archetype, but then infuse them with some more specific Yakuza flair. Spin is a 3-stage combo of punches and kicks, starting with 2 punches that propel you forward before ending with a spin kick that will cause you to hover. Jump is an uppercut, then a dive kick, before ending with a stomp. All of these can be used to great effect for both platforming and defeating enemies, which is something I think the mod does quite well. While I would have enjoyed some form of lock-on ability for enemies, maybe mapped custom 2 or 3, I feel they all feel quite balanced, with each having their own pros and cons depending on the situation. Or, you can do what I usually do, and ignore any form of strategy or combos, and instead mass spin and jump until you either defeat the enemy you're fighting, cross the gap you're facing, or die trying. Kiryu is able to cancel the combos into one another, which gives them incredible vertical and horizontal ability, as well as the ability to quickly switch between fighting enemies and walking away without losing momentum. In fact, I was quite surprised at just how well Kiryu can keep his momentum. Many of his abilities do have an ending animation upon touching the ground, but he can usually combo straight into his next attack to instead keep most of his momentum. However, there is sometimes such a thing as too much momentum, and Kiryu definitely occasionally suffers from this while under the effects of heat mode. While in this state, all of your abilities have been powered up, and you should have the ability to home in on enemies and apparently do an Armstrong on them, but whenever I attempted it I just soared right over them. This is definitely the point where Kiryu's massive momentum can be quite a disadvantage, as during both fighting and platforming, he can instead sail over enemies or platforms and into danger, especially because heat mode doesn't actually provide any further defensive capabilities. I'm not particularly sure what I was expecting when thinking of what Kiryu's SRB2 sprites would be, as you can't really use any designs from Yakuza, or change them to the standard SRB2 art style, but it was certainly not what we ended up getting. That is absolutely not a complaint though, because his sprites are beautiful. I really like the motion blur and exaggeration a lot of his ability animations have, and even though his design has been pretty majorly overhauled, I still think he's very recognisable as Kiryu. I might even go so far as to say these are my favourite sprite for a character yet in SRB2, even if they don't really fit with the environment. They're just so good looking. Kiryu also has some fun extras scattered throughout the mod. None of them really make or break the mod for me, but they're all subtle little improvements that will make the whole mod feel just a little bit greater. The fact that fighting an enemy will cause a little health bar with a randomized name to pop up in the corner is a really funny touch, as I guess we now know that the Eggman robots in the game have identities, although it does make me wonder why there couldn't be some form of lock-on feature for enemies. In the same vein, having a title card appear when starting a boss fight is also a really fun touch, even if it sometimes didn't quite line up right for when the act title card disappeared, leading to some strange looking occurrences. And finally, we all know you can't make a mod for the Dame Dene guy without allowing him to sing Bakamite, even if I haven't quite figured out the correct order to do it in. Overall, Kiryu is a really fun and well polished mod, with some gorgeous sprites and some fun extras. I love the mod, even as someone who's never even thought about playing a Yakuza game, so I can't say whether the experience is better or worse without that extra knowledge. There are some small issues that stop it from being a perfect 10, but I can't bring myself to give the mod anything less than 9 out of 10. I hope you enjoyed the video, and ciao.
この涙ばかりだ